And there we go. Okay, so we are live and we can jump in here. So it's going to be a short game today. Some updates and characters had to be updated and everything because of that. And we're running on half a crew right now, so uh, going to be a nice quick game. So kind of a recap. The entire crew made it successfully back to Verces. They have uh, located the uh, uh, they located the landing zone where they were supposed to be meeting everyone, which happens to be coinciding with the passing of the River of Returning Joys. So, which is just like a picture like Cirque du Soleil in a giant caravan that just travels around the planet. So it's kind of like a big holiday on the planet. So the River of Returning Joy is passing. You guys end up hitting your landing zone. You meet everyone there. You know, you have Perry and you have Zai and you have all the crew. Everyone kind of gets together and has their celebration. You guys have essentially won. You have access to your ship, and a good solid day or two of just celebration and revelry commences. After the the celebration dies down, the River of Returning Joys starts to move on to the next city. You guys are left with uh, kind of like the big question of what's next. Uh, so one of the things that is brought up is that Perry has a request for you and would like you to return at some point soon over to Absalon Station and meet with him. He says he has some friends that were good friends of the captain, and they will definitely want to meet you and get to know you. And he says that they're good business contacts as well. So he advises that, and just says next time you're on Absalon, just let me know, and I'll go ahead and do the introductions. And with that, Perry is off. Uh, Zai basically lets you know that she appreciates it, and you're able to get her all of her parts that she needed to return, and she appreciates everything that you guys have done, and says she'll keep an eye out for any interesting contracts that might be worthwhile to you guys. And with that, she kind of takes off to parts unknown. And so you guys are kind of left on this planet, and things have started to calm down, and the realization comes in that you now have this ship, but you really need to discover, what you can do with it, how you're going to actually pay the bills. There's all sorts of expenses to running a ship, and none of you guys have actually had to worry about the real logistics of it yet. So, with that being said, our captain, Gillum, just goes ahead and says that he needs a few days to secure a trade contract. He's basically looking to return to Absalon Station, so he figures he's going to spend some time and see if he can find, at the very least, a cargo run so that you guys can make a little bit of money on the return trip to Absalon. And so he's going to need a few days to get that settled up. And he said also while he's there, he's going to figure out exactly, what you guys can do with the ship, get all the paperwork done, all the things that he and Perry were basically just working out for transferring ownership and ownership of all of that. Uh, in the meantime, uh, Dr. Gray and Stephen Gray, they ended up getting uh, you know very close in the couple of days. They didn't really go to uh, the River of Returning Joys festival. They ended up spending a lot of time, in discussion. And unfortunately, gray discussion is kind of creepy because they just sit there and stare at each other for hours as they're just, mentally talking back and forth. Dr. Gray comes up and just informs the party that he's very much enjoyed being the doctor of the ship and working with you guys, but he uh, in his talks with Stephen, he realizes that the uh, project that Stephen was working on is actually going to be something incredibly critical for him to take part in, and he feels that this is a more appropriate calling to his talents than being a ship's doctor. So he wishes everybody luck and uh, goes ahead and decides that he's going to step away from the ship. In that same amount of time, uh, Tybin, who has been, a steady uh, bit of, muscle and security on the ship, he says too that the, uh, taking part in the ownership and running of a trade vessel isn't necessarily his cup of tea. He's more focused on the military and mercenary aspects of it, and it doesn't look like we're going to be doing any um, significant amount of uh, combat with the Leadfoot. The Leadfoot's not a combat ship, and he's been enjoying it, but he's seeing that it's not necessarily the best fit for what he sees going forward. So he too goes ahead and decides he's going to step back and asks, tells the crew that he wishes them the best of luck going forward, and if they need some muscle on any future missions, or if they find themselves in trouble and need some backup, that he'll, always be available to meet with them. And with that,
Yeah,
go ahead.
yeah. Oh well, and if you ever find yourself in need of a bunch of crazy ass motherfuckers to bring you close to a black hole, just call on us.
Exactly, exactly. So yeah, he goes ahead and he's going to step away. So you are now kind of left in a weird juxtaposition where you've got this ship. You've made some significant profits off of the time that you ran this this glass relay. So you've got a hefty set of profits. You've got some downtime where you can go ahead and essentially adjust your ship, and it's going to be up to you guys to really figure out what your role is. The only thing that you know right now is that the captain is trying to get some sort of a profitable trade run out to uh, Absalon Station, but also at the same time, he said he's not going to be looking for large volume cargo. So he basically gave you guys the freedom to make any adjustments you need as long as he's got enough of a hold where he can essentially get either his cargo or his you know whatever it is. It could be a VIP that he's going to transport or whatever. Whatever he's going to transport, he just needs to basically be able to get that to Absalon. But you guys are free to make any adjustments you see there, and you're free to decide for yourselves. What is your role going forward? What is it that you're going to be doing? what is it that you guys want to do? So I think that's where we're gonna start off today. We're going to, have the remaining crew that's sitting here. The the one exception to what we had was we did have Clint, who, if you guys remember, was a Fentomite like Gustav, and they actually knew each other for years from years back. Clint, it, makes his mention that he very much appreciates the ride out of Yax and getting him to safety. And now that he's on a planet where he feels he can safely uh, pursue his future, he is going to. He's actually been inspired by the uh, the experience of you guys saving him, rescuing him, and his decision was he needed to toughen up a little bit more. He needed to do some training. So in that aspect, he ends up leaving with Tybin to go ahead and uh, pursue a little bit more of a mercenary, uh, pursue some mercenary experience, try to get himself going, get himself a little bit more experienced in combat. So we have Clint that is gone. We have Dr. Gray and Stephen Gray that are gone. We have Tybin that's gone. And the captain is away negotiating a trade deal. So that leaves us with Cal, the ship's engineer. We have Ghost One, the ship's pilot, and Gustav, who is currently going to be filling the ship's uh, gunner role and is the ranger for land excursions. Now, between the three of you, what is it that you would like to see out of your shore leave here on Verces?
Well,
Well, let's see. Let's see what Verses has to offer.
Verces is a very interesting planet. It's tidally locked, so one side of the planet constantly faces the sun, and it's a harsh desert. The other side of the planet is dark and eternally night, and there's a ring around the middle of it that is kind of like this, dawn to dusk twilight mode where you get increasing amounts of light as you get closer to the desert area, and an increasing amount of dark as you move up towards the dark side. And that ring is where the majority of the life and the action on Verces happens. There's a lot of different uh, organizations and a lot of different events that are happening on Verces. It's a very interesting planet because it's essentially a really good hub of culture and trade around the Pact Worlds. You can pretty much find whatever you'd want to find here. Uh, One thing that is a little bit off about it, though, is it's also a source of instability. There's a lot of uh, uh, classified as terrorist organizations that operate out of here and have political cells that essentially operate within here. But for the most part, the planet is friendly and safe. It's not overly aggressive, but in the celebration and in the beauty that is here, there is that seedier underside. Um, some possibilities. You guys have your ship, and you have the extra money and everything that you've had from making uh, your glass relay. During that time, you've also you've kind of been operating on the components that you were able to get. but now that you're on a planet with the availability, you guys can go ahead and tweak out your ship however you like. There's definitely some room for some upgrades. So you have access to a tier 3 ship now. So um, that is definitely something that could be looked into. So there's also the possibility that uh, now that you own the ship, you might say, "Hey, we'd like to maybe trade in the ship. Maybe you want to maybe the Explorer frame of a lead the Leadfoot isn't quite right. Maybe you want to move up to something larger like a transport." Or maybe you're happy with the medium size kind of nimble ship that you have. Um, there's also particularly if there's anybody interested in specific supplies or researching specific organizations, trying to find their own path. If you guys have any uh, like Cal, you are most likely from Verces, I would assume, as a Strix. So,
Yeah.
um, you might have family, friends, organizations here that you want to follow up with. Any of that, it's all just endless possibilities right now. So if you guys feel like, at this point, get the ship tweaked out. You guys have your main engineer here and the pilot. So you guys can always decide whatever changes need to be made there. The captain basically gave you full leave to do what you need while he's out. So
Right. So, okay. First things first. What do you? What are your opinions on what we should do in the long run? Do you want? Would you like to keep focusing on finding contracts and doing transportation just like Captain Vito did, or do you want to go into a different area? I mean, do we wanna start slightly different type of business, or how do you guys feel about that?
Well, I guess personally, I kind of like the idea of carrying on Vito's mission. We can, being as some people have departed, and maybe we'll find some new people to take under our wing. I already feel like we're kind of started down that path. And at this point, I don't know if we necessarily need a bigger ship based on where we're at, but um, I don't know. We could definitely do some changes if somebody was, interested in making the ship more to their taste. But
Well, I mean, if we were tier two, now we're tier three. We've got some upgrades we can do.
yep, definitely.
It doesn't necessarily have to be a bigger ship or.
Yeah.
So
I kind of see it the same way. I mean, in the long run, I'm personally fine with what we've been doing. It gives us the variety of contracts and interesting stuff to do. At this point, I don't think that we really need a bigger ship. The lead food, first of all, it's Vito's ship. Well, now ours, but out of respect for him and out of e- respect for everything that we've been through, I'd like to keep it at least for a while until we really need something else.
Yeah,
I think
until it
there's
doesn't
still
serve us anymore.
and there's still plenty of room for improvements here, so we don't really need to invest heavily into a new ship, I think.
yeah, yeah, that seems to make perfect sense. One thing that the captain does say is that um, before he heads off, he makes mention of Perry and tells you that he believes that the group that Perry is talking about is the Starfinder Society, and he believes that Perry's going to try to introduce you guys to the Starfinder Society. Because being that Perry's office is in the Lorespire complex over on Absalon Station, and the Lorespire complex is essentially the where the headquarters of the Starfinder Society works or exists. He's basically just on the outskirts of their main headquarters. He has a feeling that that's the people that you guys are going to be invited to meet. And in that case, they are heavily invested into exploration. So, uh, when you guys do get there, if that's something that everyone's interested in, there is that aspect. So if you are looking at adjusting your ship, that's something to keep in mind. Um,
We
but
could do that.
he's not Perry didn't go out and say anything directly, but Perry tends to not say anything very directly until that the time is right and he's sure he's in a confidential area. So
Yeah, with Perry, it's usually like he gives a hint, gives you
yeah,
a direct hint, smacks you over the head.
yeah, pretty much. So yeah,
Go ahead.
that's essentially the only real indication there. But again, you guys would have even if you're uh, I mean, like right now, you've got on your ship, you've got luxurious guest quarters, you've got a gym for a recreation suite, you've got a smuggling compartment cargo hold. So it's basically a reduced size cargo hold with smuggling compartment on it, and tech workshop. Uh, you really have just basically the basic computers. Mark One armor, Mark Two defenses. So your defenses are really very, very light. You do have extensive shields on it though, but other than
Yep.
that, not really a lot going on. You're basically set up to be high shields, high speed, and some smuggling capabilities, but that's about it on the ship. So you guys are free to decide if you want to do any adjustments on there. Also, like I said, you're on the planet, so if there's anything that particularly strikes you that you'd like to do, any if you have ideas for side opportunities to, either, look for some sort of a job that you might be able to, make some income in, let's say, this week of downtime, or if you wanted to try to maybe, besides the captain, try to secure your own, uh, uh, you know, way of essentially running something over to Epsilon Station. Maybe you can figure out some data or some information or something else that you can trade. There's all sorts of stuff. There's also on the planet, the planets are large and uh, very well explored, but even on known planets like this, there's, just like on our world, there's nooks and crannies that, people have never really explored or gone to. It's the same thing here. There's little odds and ends. So if you wanted to go around and do any exploration, that's always a possibility as well. So
Um, being as Gustav is an an exploring operative, like his thing is going around finding things. I don't know if I want to say like Tomb Raider style, but like finding information and lost civilizations and stuff. If there was something on this planet, like on the desert side or on the cold side, maybe he'd spend that week like talking to people, seeing if he can find out anything about the planet and various things, just information for him to record in his travels, and see if there's anything that comes out of that lead wise. Because as far as the ship goes, like he likes the inside of it, but he's not the ship guy. He's more of the explorer guy. So if the ship's mechanic and the ship's pilot think something's a great idea to change, he's probably going to go with it.
yeah. So you're more go with the flow, let them do what they want to do, and you're gonna try to track down something interesting on the planet.
Right. I mean, I think the luxury suite's a good idea if we're gonna. I mean, because we're kind of doing like a little bit of everything. So if we're gonna transport people, a luxury suite might be nice. He likes the gym as far as training. A tech workshop would probably be a good idea as far as like modifying weapons and armor. But so things like the computer that we haven't upgraded. But unless somebody else has a better idea, he's probably gonna go with what they decide.
There you go. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, if we're gonna get a few hull points. We could increase our AC a little and our TL, get a better computer. Most part, I think we're doing pretty good.
Maybe a better gun. I don't know what that stuff looks like.
What I'm thinking is trying to be savvy about the prices. We're on Verses. I'm not sure how high the technology penetration level is in here. Maybe upgrading the computers would be cheaper on, I don't know, Abalon or Absalom Station.
Verses is actually a very significant trade hub, so your prices are going to be very equivalent here versus Absalon.
Okay.
So there's no worry. Most of the major pack worlds, you're going to have uh, decently similar prices. It's just the disposition is a little bit different. But being that this is Cal's home world, he might have connections that would allow you guys to if cost effectively do all of your upgrades. So I really wouldn't worry about
Okay.
the price of anything here.
Well, definitely Cal wise, she would definitely try and maybe rustle up. She should have probably some, not necessarily black market connections, but some people that might just pay you to do something you probably shouldn't do on Verses.
There you go. Yeah,
And she would definitely like to explore that possibility for a trip back to Absalom.
okay. Yeah, definitely. If you're looking for, let's say, some better, better taken to the station and not scanned or noticed cargo, there's definitely some opportunities to get that. I'm sure that there are some Strix on Verses who would like to get something over to Absalon. So that's definitely workable. Um, so okay, so in as far as downtime activities, what I have right now is Gustav would like to go ahead and see if he can find some exploration opportunities and maybe and just even some information that might be useful to take over to Absalon, and then if he happens in that time to come up with something that's profitable or easy enough to take over to Absalon, do that. Cal would like to look for more illicit transportation needs, someone that needs something moved quietly, discreetly.
And also, if Gustav is going to share the information that he may want to, go out exploring or whatever, I would include trying to find any knowledge about maybe a recent archaeological site that was, just kind of found somewhere.
There you go. Okay. So
That would be great. Also, like if I could, I know we kind of moved past it, but during the revelry, if he could just mingle with the crowds, go through, get information, and maybe try some sleight of hand and see how that goes for him too. Um,
there we go. Okay. So you want to essentially you want during the revelry to try to do a little bit of pickpocketing.
yeah, mingle with people, get information from people about possible sites, and then possibly lighten a few of their loads.
Okay. We can definitely give that some tries. Uh, so
Oh, and one other thing. Um, After getting hit that last time in that death match, He feels like maybe he should upgrade his armor a little bit. So he's gonna see about getting something a little bit better than that, that second skin. So he's gonna upgrade his armor while he's out through the revelry, seeing if anybody's selling anything, as long as this is a trade hub, and maybe get something a little better.
Yep. You actually come across a Vesk armor smith who is making Defrex hide armor and ends up kind of like eyeballing you as you're looking at it and explains all the virtues of Defrex hide versus the synthetic garbage that you're wearing right now, and kind of goes through and explains how it's natural and it's resistant to the elements and it's incredibly flexible and everything else, and just kind of bestows the virtues of Defrex hide on you. Um, and so yeah, you've got that as an option on your armor side.
Okay, I'll see if I can make a deal with the guy. Maybe trade some of these things that I've acquired over time. Some of these things that I feel like I'm not going to use, like maybe a rifle or whatever. See if he'll bring the price down a little bit, and then depending on if it's a reasonable price, credits and weapons and whatever
Yep.
he,
Yep.
feels like it's worth.
You're able to go ahead and make an exchange for some of the stuff you have and some amount of credits. These there's you so um, the River of Returning Joys is you don't actually do trade inside, but there's a lot of traders that kind of follow it. So as it comes in, there's a lot of essentially like merchants who will like set up in the town before they come in and start selling stuff and trading stuff and everything. And when it goes by, they do it again. They're basically like get rid of their stock. So he seems to be pretty happy because he's on his way out. He's happy to take some of the things off your hands and get rid of a suit. He just has to. He spends a few hours customizing it to fit your specific body type. But after that, he's happy to kind of offload some of his armor and get something else that he might be able to trade and make a decent profit on in the next city. So that's worth it. If you guys have anything that you want to sell during this time that's on your sheet, you can go ahead and sell it at 60% value, just to offload anything that you might have been carrying. And that will go ahead and give you. It's essentially this is a really easy time to move all sorts of different goods. So.
Yeah, I didn't really grab anything, so I don't really have anything to sell.
Yeah, I think Tybin ended up having a lot of the stuff on him. But yeah, I think he had a couple couple sets of armor mostly is what it looks like here. So, but it doesn't look like he had too much there. A couple sets of armor and extra laser rifle there. So yeah, not too much there. So yeah, if like I said, if any of you guys have anything that you wanted to move, this is a good spot to do it. Any of the extras. Otherwise, we can kind of continue on with that. So let's see. Ghost One, did you have any specific objectives that you wanted to take care of? So refresh. Cal was trying to get some connections, trying to see about some sort of a illicit trade, seeing if he could find any leads for Gustav. Gustav was going to be out doing some, lightning of loads of people and doing some trade himself, and then maybe trying to follow up on any leads that Cal could come up with. And if Cal didn't come up with anything, he was going to try to find some leads of his own. How about you? What were your priorities for this bit of downtime?
Right. Well, I don't have any connections on this world, so I will leave figuring out the black market and illicit trades to those who are familiar with it.
Mhm.
I was more thinking along the lines that I would remain on the ship first off as just for security,
Mhm.
and second, Ghost would spend the time poring over technical manuals and diagrams, study all of them, and then probably go around the ship bit by bit, take note of all the critical systems. Well, pretty much all the systems, but make sure that everything is working. Make sure that like how to put it. Check every part and wire. Take note of the vital systems and figure out a way if we can do something to create backup energy roads or something if we get damaged, so that we can easily just switch to a backup and stuff like that,
Okay.
and maybe scout the markets and scrap yards, for cheap parts that we could use as the backup. And of course, all of that would be consulted with Cal,
Mhm.
because I don't
Okay.
want to. I wouldn't want to. I wouldn't want Cal to get a heart attack after coming back and finding out that their ship is being turned into something horrible. But yeah, just use the time that way to improve our chances of survival.
Okay.
She doesn't take that personal affront to anything like that.
Good.
Oh my God! Somebody started playing a drum set in the living room.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like. All right.
I
So,
didn't know that was going to happen.
all right. So, as far as as far as uh, what you're able to scrounge up and access, uh, you know, having having spare parts, you guys can stock up on lots of spare parts. A lot of that stuff is around there. Full like full spare components might be a little bit more difficult. So you would end up probably having to spend the build points on them to have, full
Yeah.
spares kind of sitting there. So I wouldn't worry about that as much, but you can definitely restock all the spare parts you have. Also, there might be some other things that you guys, now that you own the ship, you might want to look into, like, for example, biometric locks, things like that, so that when you leave the ship, you have some, extra security on it, to kind of try to prevent people from getting into it. That sort of stuff is available. Um, and any of
Yeah, Cal would normally look at that, but it's she knows how easy it is to hack,
Mhm.
so I don't know that she would
Well,
spend the time.
easy for Cal to hack is not necessarily easy for anyone else to hack too. So, it's kind of like the locks on your house. You could just go and kick the door down, but it's going to make someone at least think twice and make it not so
Sure.
it's just not quite as easy. So little things like that are always possibilities here. Um, but yeah, as far as if there's anything particular you're looking for the ship, you're able to find it. So I'll let you just go ahead and decide, what exactly you're looking for, and then we can adjust the build points, etc. for it. You are kind of bumping up on your power budget though. So you might actually, if you're going to go anything too high, especially higher with your weapons, you'll probably need to upgrade um, your
Power core.
power core, yeah, to maybe like a pulse green or a pulse red. So that's just a consideration to have there.
Yeah, we got just 5 units
Well,
available.
I guess so. Before we were kind of building the ship to run away.
Yep.
So if we're a speed of 10, that's pretty average. We're not going to be able to run away from much as we move forward.
Yeah.
So either we want to be better armored or we want to be able to blow them up quicker.
Yeah, definitely the armor is very, very light on your ship. So armor there, you're operating under that basic computer. So basically any computer is better than what you've got right now, but any computer is going to be at least 10 power core. So you're probably looking at jumping up to at least a pulse green, maybe even a red or a blue, just depending on how far up you want to go. And giving yourself, if you want to get extra 20 to 70 more power, and then from there, tossing on maybe a computer core and upgrading some armor are pretty decent choices.
All right, so sorry, backtrack a little. You said we can sell. Can I sell my armor to use 60% to buy another set of armor?
Yep. Anything that you have on you, if you wanted to upgrade anything, you could sell anything on you right now for about 60% of its value, and add that right to your credits, and then buy whatever you want to do. So if you want to sell guns or even the equipment you're using right now, go ahead and sell it. And if you want to replace it with something better, you'll get 60% for it right now.
So that stuff that Tybin was carrying, was that for him, or was that just stuff he was carrying because we were, loaded down?
I can go ahead and move it back onto the party inventory here. Let me look and see what he had.
Yeah, so we loot our colleagues before they leave.
Pretty
No.
much,
I
yeah.
just there was a time there where we loaded everybody up with stuff so we could get out of the death match, and I was just wondering if that might be something where he's still just carrying it. And I'm happy with the armor I've got. So if you guys wanted to sell that so that you'd have enough to get better armor or better weapons, by all means.
So I'll
Yeah, no, I was kidding.
If it's reasonable for him to keep, then I'll go ahead and keep it on him. So there's a
Right,
sticky
but I
bomb
meant like if
grenade.
he was carrying like 3 of the same rifle or something, maybe he was just, in addition to the weapons he normally fights with, maybe that was just loot.
Yeah, I'm looking here. I'm not gonna put what he has equipped, but if there's stuff that's not equipped, I'll go ahead and put it in there. So
And so we're good with level 3, level 4.
level 3, everyone should be level 3 right now. Yeah, level 3, level 4. If you want level 5 on equipment, let me know, and I just roll for it.
Yeah, I can't afford anything level 5.
Yeah, it's usually the money comes to be the issue when you're going that much higher. But yeah, anything level 3, level 4 are completely available. Level 4 or one level above your level is always going to be available on a major planet. If you're in like a backwater planet, then typically you'll be able to get your level. And depending on how, if you're in a remote part of the planet, like a small town on a backwater planet, you might not even be able to get that. So. So yeah, Tybin had a lot of serums of healing, so I just took half of them and stuck them on there. There was a sticky bomb grenade on there, and it looks like he had 2 sets of armor. His second skin, because he wore one of the armor that he found there. But since that was his old starter armor, I'm just going to leave that with him. So he's got essentially that, and I'm not seeing anything else there. Let me see here. Oh, yeah, there's all this stuff. Aha. There you go. I just realized all the stuff for the cargo hold was on camcorder, so
Did you check? Okay, I don't know if you actually made a character out of it, but yeah, Clint was carrying stuff, but I think you might have moved it all to camcorder.
Yeah. Um,
Well, there's 8 sets of armor right there that you could probably make some monies on.
Well, I would definitely go with
so there we go.
Defrick's hide if he had to, and we could sell some of this stuff.
Yep, there's all that stuff that's on there right now. It's in the party sheet. You guys have access to that for selling it. So if you want, I can just set it at, if you guys want me to just sell this stuff, I guess if any of you guys need to use the batteries or you want the field rations or maybe the small arm rounds or any of that stuff, the grenades, take them out and then I can just set it to 60% and then just put it right into credits. So that'll be a nice, easy way to divide it up.
Well, if no one is going to take it, I'd like to take a healing potion.
Yep.
I've got 4, so go ahead.
Let me see.
I don't necessarily need the healing potion, at least at this point in time.
I'll give one of them to the captain as well because he has none. So
Oh yeah, definitely.
just to make sure that he has one. So okay, those are gone now. The grenades. Who's proficient with grenades? You know, let's see.
I am.
Okay. Are operatives proficient with grenades?
Nope.
Nope,
Nope.
they're not. So Cal,
Although we can throw well enough to kill everybody with one of them.
yeah. So Cal, I don't know if you wanna take the couple grenades that are on there because you're the proficient one.
Well, we just don't get enough for them to. I don't know. They are. I would probably keep them.
We can.
Just because it's the easiest way to do odd damage to a creature that has resistance to us.
Let's go ahead and I'll just put the rations and the small arm rounds just back on the ship. We'll just assume that they're there when people need them. So
Well, that makes sense.
that makes so we're not just selling things that could be used later. So let's see here. So that should leave us. Does anybody use batteries? Because there's 3 batteries there, and they don't really weigh anything. The
We
captain
use them for
the captain
energy weapons, right?
Yep, the captain literally has 20 of them. So
What? Nice.
he's
I don't use any batteries, so
so if anybody needed them, you know,
Nat
you could.
one. Do you have energy weapons?
Yep, I do.
Well, I have 4 batteries at the moment, so.
I've got 5.
Okay, so yeah,
All
we
right,
can.
so you take another one, I'll take 2.
Yeah, I was gonna say we can. I can probably take 15 of these from the captain and actually put them on there. So there we go. The captain still has 5. Whatever you guys have left for extras, you can probably just sell because that's still a ton of batteries.
Yeah, I'm gonna take 5, and then I'm good.
All right.
Well, I don't wanna overweigh myself too much. Well, they don't really weigh anything, so.
Yeah,
Right.
batteries weigh nothing. Just the only thing is right now you can get 60% for them, whereas in the future you might only get 10 for them. So it's
or if you thought you were going to use it, you could put it on your sheet and just unequip it.
yeah. So all right.
I'm gonna grab these 3, so that puts me at 8.
Sell it.
Four
All right.
4 for each weapon. That's that. And then I realized I had one more a downtime thing to do, which yeah. I mean, I don't want to waste too much time on that for everyone, but yeah, I did have a plan.
Uh, all right.
What?
Really?
Santeria. All right. Okay, so if everyone's good here, I'll go ahead and hit the sell.
Good.
This one, you good?
I'm good.
Gustav, you good?
I'm good.
All right. So it says 506 credits.
That means all that stuff that's left in there does not have a value on it.
Yep, they look like they're all missing value.
All right, so we can fix this. Let me do this. I go to items, and I go to arc pistol static. Let me delete that. And arc pistol static. Boom. Tactical baton. So got one of those. Let me delete that. Tactical baton. Sure. S-Tech suits. This is fun. 3 of those. 3. Okay. Azimuth laser rifles. Let's see. We have 3 of those. Okay, Lashunta ringwear. Yeah, that's 5 of those. That should be good cash. A second skin. One of those. Yeah, man,
Yeah,
those
that's
I
like
don't know what was going on with those parcels, but that kind of sucks.
Some of that stuff still doesn't have stats.
My auto pistol.
Well, it's worse than that. I mean, when I opened, for example, the arc pistol from the party sheet, it was completely empty. No description, no
no,
price,
it's
nothing.
working
Well, now, yeah.
Well, the Tacklash still doesn't have any descriptions.
Yep, well,
because he hasn't got to replace it yet.
yep, there we
He's
go.
replacing them all as he's talking about it.
So there we go.
Yep.
Oh, I saw it. I saw
There.
it disappear and then come back, and disappear, then come back. So I assumed he had.
No, 4364 now. There we go. So I've refreshed it.
That's better.
So that's extra 1,000 credits for everybody. So there we go. Getting rid of all that junk. And then the only thing that's really left on the ship, I think now, is some small rounds and some fuel rations that are just sitting there, but that's good.
That
So
makes sense to have those, yeah.
yeah. So yeah, so everyone should have some decent cash to work with on getting any equipment that they need. So let's do this. Cal and Gustav, can you guys give me what skills do we want to do here?
If it's underworld, I'm an outlaw, and so I use culture checks at reduced by per knowledge about criminal underworld.
Perfect. So yeah, both of you go ahead and give me culture checks.
Did I get some kind of bonus for culture because of being an explorer? I can't remember offhand.
It's on your front sheet if you do. Under theme.
You do, but I don't think you actually get it until 6th level, if I remember correctly. Because your specialization, explorer,
Probably the only
you
thing I
can,
have right now is it gives to the trick attack, but
yeah, 11th level, you gain a +4 to culture and survival checks. But until then, you just get normal. So
So at 6th level, I get underworld contacts that can possibly get us out of legal trouble as long as we're willing to pay the right price.
24.
There you go. Cal, unfortunately, your contacts just were not paying out right now. Is I it it There's just not a lot as far as uh the illicit uh, uh transport at the moment. Just with and it's probably just due to um, in this particular area, due to uh, the carnival going through a lot of that stuff. It's basically it's like Mardi Gras that rolls around the planet. So a lot of the illicit stuff is actually being brought in. It's not necessarily the going out right now. But what you can do is I'll let you go ahead and try to make another check by just connecting with contacts on the planet and seeing if there's something else maybe going on someplace else other than in the immediate area that you're in right now. Um, so with Gustav, during your revelry and carousing, uh, you're able to come across some information on uh, just some weird goings on that have been happening. Basically, some people who were part of the caravan were telling you that uh, there were, uh, some problems with dust mantas in the travels, that the caravan got attacked. They have guards, but apparently the dust mantas have been a little bit more of a problem. Now, you're able to go through and get a little bit of information, and these are just some really just giant, nasty creatures. They're like 10-foot wide, 10-foot long manta rays that basically swim through the sand. Just real gnarly beast. And it doesn't sound like the type of thing that you would especially want to mess around with. Uh, but that seems to be the current issues that they were finding. But they said that it's not dust mantas aren't all that unusual. There's just an unusual number of them going on right now. So, um, so let's see here. Let me pop back over. So, like I said, Cal, if you want to try making another check, just to maybe another culture check, just for your contacts in other places on the planet, maybe you can get something that's not in this particular area. And then, as far as the selling goes, like I said, we sold off a lot of that extra stuff. If you guys had anything else that was on yours, I'll go ahead and leave you to go ahead and sell it and adjust your credits. Anything that was in your personal inventory. Other than that, you guys are free to pick up anything there, and then we can still do the adjustments for the ship. So, Cal, this is an unusual one, but there's apparently a um, some uh, some cybernetic mods that are experimental and not approved for use on packed planets. And apparently there's someone developing. There's a Strix here on Verces that's developing them, and they have a client that wants to have them delivered on Absalon. It's a really small package, but because they are experimental, there's two things. They're not approved for use, so they're illegal to have on Absalon, And then secondly, because they're experimental, this person doesn't want someone to basically get them and start analyzing the designs and figuring out anything that's in with them. Because you are a Strix and they're familiar with you, they're willing to let you uh, ferry them over to Absalon. Just the only thing is it's kind of like the other package. It's a don't ask,
Yeah,
don't
no
tell.
peak.
Yeah, no peeky secure box, but basically you take that no peeky secure box and they'll deliver. It'll be 1,000 credits just to deliver it to Absalon.
Well, I will run it by the crew and the captain when he gets back, I guess, you know.
Okay. So
I mean, with our DC 50 smuggling compartment, I don't think it's going to be much of a problem at this point, but
yeah, if anyone could hit a DC 50, it's probably Absalon security, but that even then it's going to be it's
rare.
pretty safe. Yeah.
I mean, you can still set us up for a plot point failure so that we have to play out that scenario. So,
Right. Um, all right. So there we have that. So far um the rumors going around that they're in the wake of this there was a large amount of dust mantas being kicked up. Not exactly sure why that is. We've got a possible smuggling job lined up. You guys have sold off a lot of your miscellaneous gear that you had, and you've uh, you're now able to do any mods that you need to your equipment, uh, procure any, if you need any cybernetics or you need any, uh, you know, modifiers to your personal gear, armor mods, any of that stuff. You have access to all that. Weapon mods. If you wanted to get, let's say, sights for your weapons to improve their range or anything like that, all that stuff's available to you guys. And then, of course, any mods that you want to do to the ship. Did you guys give any thoughts to what you want to do to the ship? Anything like, did you guys want to go for computer armor? Looks like you got 20 build points to work with.
uh, well, if we're going to do anything, we got to upgrade the. I mean, I would say computer.
Okay.
I mean, who doesn't want a +1 or a +2, whatever, to whatever check they're making?
I think lots of people would
Computer
like
and
to have
power
it.
plant, yeah.
Okay.
But
So,
without a nice pop up list of what it costs and whatnot, I would say we upgrade our power and then a computer left over for armor, and then if we have, how many weapon mounts does this frame have?
it has several. So let's see.
4.
Your
Okay.
Explorer has, yeah, you've got one light forward, one light port, one light starboard, and one light turret. So you've got no heavy mounts on the Explorer frame. The turret mount is the only one that you guys are currently using.
Right. So is the torpedo light mount?
Let's see here.
Ship items.
Yep, yep. You could put like a light torpedo launcher on the front there, or
Well, it doesn't matter because they
yeah.
have perfect maneuverability. So that would be another one I would recommend just because it does 3d8 damage.
So
You only get 5 shots per combat, but you know.
well, there's no limited fire on a light torpedo, which is 2d8. So you could do
Oh,
basically unlimited shots if you wanted a light torpedo. If you did, you could do like a high explosive, which is a little bit slower, but that's a 48, uh, which actually has a lower build point cost, but a higher a power core cost. But if you're going to upgrade your power core anyway, you'd probably have the room for it. And then there's tactical nuclear missile launcher.
Well, I mean, of course we want that, right?
So yeah, so if you went light torpedo, you have no limit on them. You can fire as many as you want. They move faster, uh, and they're lower cost, but they're only 2d8 damage. Or you can kind of go middle ground where you've got 5 shots for 3d8. But if you're going to limit yourself to 5 shots, I'd almost go for that 4d8 to get the high explosive. So that's up to you guys though, if you prefer to have 5 shots of a heavy hitting weapon, or if you prefer to have unlimited shots of a faster, longer range weapon that does less
Or you could
damage.
put one on the port and one on the starboard.
Right. Well, we can add more guns, but like I said, and I was looking for feedback. I think, like I said, we upgrade our power core because we're going to need it either way. Then we go to a computer that'll give us a couple of bonuses to checks. Then we go to weapons or armor. And I
Right.
mean, armor really, we need more anyways. So,
Yeah, we
I,
definitely need the power core first.
Okay, so
I
let's see.
think I'm in total agreement with your order.
Um, do
because
you
we only
want?
have what, 20 build points?
So
We
let's
have
see.
Or
20 build points,
21?
20 or 21
Because we
build
had,
points, but only five energy points remaining.
Yep. So
well, didn't we have a couple of build points from last time?
No,
One or two?
we may. I don't know.
I just have the current. The current was sitting at 75, so you guys were right at your limit. I think what it was is you made the tech workshop work, so you had a couple of PowerPoints left over.
Okay, that's what it was. All right.
Yeah. So let's see if we do the power core here. Let's do a pulse green should give you for 2 build points. That'll give you 25 power. That should be pretty good. So let's see here. Uh, items, ship items. Oops, I'm in the wrong sheet. Ship items. So let's do a pulse green and open up the starships here.
Yeah, it is only 5 build points for a tactical nuclear missile launcher.
Yep.
If you guys don't have a problem with irradiating people.
So yeah, pulse green. Now you guys have 25 power to work with.
Yeah, and we've only spent 2 build points on that.
And then let's see here. You've got, yeah, that was just 2. Um, so 10 power core for a high explosive missile launcher, or 10 power core for a tactical nuke. Um, tactical nuke's 5d8. It has irradiate, limited fire. The only downside is it only moves 10 hexes. But if you wanted something to cover your rear, throwing a tactical nuke in the back could work
Could
for
be
that.
effective.
Yep.
But it's kind of a one-trick pony.
Yep.
So I'm not sure about that. Like we deployed once and that's it.
No, it's 5 shots.
Yep.
And as long as we're in range, it'll move that far in one round. It's just whether or not we're in range.
Yeah. I'm looking at irradiate. So a weapon with the irradiate property creates a wave of harmful radiation that penetrates shields and starship hulls. Living creature on a starship struck by an irradiating weapon are subjective to a level of radiation noted in parentheses for 1d4 rounds of starship combat. So, yeah, so if you do that, you're basically nuking the people on the inside.
Right.
So let's see. All right, so I guess
Free ships. Woo!
you want to have um 4 or 5. Let's see one other thing here. Uh, if you did micro missile battery, you can hit everything in an arc. So basically, that it's like lets you do kind of like a shotgun. You can do 2d6 on a bunch of guys. That might be kind of useful to have in the front. So if you kind of pointed your ship at stuff, you can hit like a bunch of targets for 2d6, but it's not that much damage. Might be better off grabbing like a chain cannon or a particle beam or something in the front. Well, I'll leave
Or
that. How about this?
light plasma cannon. We could replace that on the turret.
Yeah, the only reason
You
I
know,
did the
like
the only reason I
go
threw the
ahead.
coil gun on the turret was that it was long range, and I figured if you're running around, being able to point long range in any direction was kind of useful.
Oh
But
yeah, that's short range. Yeah, you're right.
uh, but yeah, yeah, it's entirely up to you guys if you wanted to do maybe long range in the front or get rid of it completely. Whatever you guys like. I only saw one long range weapon, that was that coil gun. So it's not a ton of damage, but being able to hit people out to whatever 16 hexes or whatever I thought was pretty useful. And then be able to double that with at a range penalty was really nice.
What kind of cost do sensors run?
So you guys have
Budget sensors.
but yeah,
Yeah.
budget medium range, which is actually a lot better than normal. Let me see here. Um, you guys, so build point cost, the sensors you have right now are 3 build points. They give you no modifier, and they have a range of medium. If you
All right.
wanted
So
for 2 build points,
advanced medium is 8.
yep. So for 5 build points, you can get a +4 to your sensor checks.
Is there anything that's fairly cheap with long range?
For 3 more build points, you can go to long range budget, and that gives you long range. Um,
Yeah, but if we're gonna spin.
I was just thinking the best way to, stay alive would be to avoid a fight if possible, but then be
Well,
ready for a fight.
Unfortunately, the way that the sensors work, they're not really, they're more for like scanning a ship that you're already like long
in
range is,
contact with.
yeah, long range is kind of like how many hexes away. It's not like how many kilometers or, you know.
Well, let's get the one that has a 5,000 hex range.
Yeah, so
Well, and since a hex isn't defined, they are pretty long range.
yeah, but it ends up being like essentially when you're using your sensors, when you're using those sensors, you're within combat range. So long range sensors at the same range as your coil gun, for example. So what if you're trying to avoid damage, you'd be better off probably getting armor and defense systems, so countermeasures. Which your countermeasures
Like a
are
flat gun?
no, there's actually defensive countermeasures, page 298. So you've got Mark II defenses right now, which is 1 power core, 3 build points, and it gives you a +2 to your TL, which is like your defense against like tracking stuff like missiles. So you would be better off, but you've got I think like Mark I armor, which so just a +1 armor. You might be able
Yeah,
to
so I mean, and they're not that expensive. So like
what
Mark IV defenses gives us a +4 for 6 build points minus whatever we spend on the other one.
Yeah, so your what I would say is you might, if you wanted to upgrade your computer, I think the computers are the ones that scale the highest in build points. So you might want to decide how far up the chain you want to go on your computer first, and then look at what's left over for deciding your weapons and armor. Because I mean, you could just go, hey, I want to give 4 people a +1 for 4 points, or I want to give one person a +3 for 9 points. You know, the higher your bonus is, the much more expensive the computers go. So, but then it's
So we can, for 12 points, we can give 3 people. That means like the captain, the engineer, and then a gunner could shoot at a +2 every round for 12,
that is correct.
which is probably pretty reasonable for what we're thinking about. But that's 15 power.
Yep. And that gives you 10 power left, would be just enough to put on another gun. So you take that with what you have, and I think you could add a gun, but that wouldn't leave you anything left for armor. Or
Guess we
a
we got
weapon.
enough
All right,
guns.
well then let's just
You got such a party going on back there.
yeah. Nobody told me he was coming over. Let's do a Trinode 1. That's 3 build points, 10 PCU, and we can get 3+1 bonuses. And it leaves us a little power. We can do defenses and maybe the missile launcher.
Okay, so let's start with that. So Trinode Mark 1.
Which is nice to have even the +1 bonus for 3. We just got to remember to use it every.
Yep. Okay. So that leaves you 15 build points now. And let's see, 15 power. So armor,
And it's like 5 times our size category for decent armor.
yeah, armor is no power cost at all. So
Right.
um,
Just build points. Because we're size category 1.
I'm looking that one up right now.
Yeah, I don't know actually.
I kind of want to say you're 3 because I think it goes tiny, small, then medium, but I'm not sure on that.
I think we're small.
No, I know you're medium. Explorer's medium. I'm just trying to figure out how the size category is
Number.
calculated.
Yeah.
I want to say it's 3 is the when you're calculating stuff out for size category. So
Tiny is 1, small is 2, medium is 3, large is 4.
yep. So it's 3 times whatever. So you've got Mark 1. So you basically have 3 build points worth. So Mark 2 would be 6. Mark 3 would be 9. So you could conceivably go to a Mark II, or actually Mark III, which would be 6 extra build points on where you're at right now. And that should leave you some left over. Well, I'll let you guys figure that out. Whatever you're in the mood to put on there.
And that would give us another 2 bonus to AC. And our pilot bonus is now 3, by the way.
Oh.
I assume he has 3 ranks in
Correct.
piloting.
Nice. Yeah, so if you want, I can change that armor to a 3. Do you want your countermeasures to go up to a 3 as well? That would be 6.
Yeah, I was just looking at that. That's 3 PCU and 6 build points, minus whatever the other one was.
So your countermeasures are 2, which are 3 build points and 1 PCU. If you went up to a
All right,
3, so you're keeping them the same, it'd be one more PCU and one more build point. So those actually go up really slowly. So that might even actually be worth
yeah,
going higher.
Mark 4 gives us a 4 total bonus for 2 PCU and what, like 4 build points?
Yeah. So we can try popping those in there, and so let me go to let's do Mark 3 armor.
Yeah, man, for the information you can glean from sensors, they are expensive.
Yeah. Yeah, Mark 4 defenses. Okay. So let me get rid of the Mark 1 armor and the Mark 2 defenses. Okay. And then let me go make sure my build points are being calculated out properly. Mark 3 armor, Mark 4 defenses. That seems right. Let's see here. There we go. All right, so you got 13, you got 6 build points left and 13 power. You've upgraded armor from Mark 1 to Mark 3, countermeasures from Mark 2 to Mark 4. So you got a 16 AC, 17 target lock. So that's pretty good.
That'd give us enough for a tactical missile launcher, even if we wanted it. So,
yep. So you've got your yeah, you've got plenty.
Well, how about 10 PCU, and we got 13 left.
Let's see, what else is there here? You guys have upgraded your power core. Your thrusters are as fast as you can get them. Medium 10s. They're as fast as you can get them without taking a penalty to your piloting. Not that that's a big deal, but it's just a consideration. You've got a computer node upgrade. So yeah, I would say you've got, let's see, build points, 6 build points. So, you can't really go up all that much on anything else. So yeah, I guess the only real thing would be
Weapons.
you could increase your armor to a +4, and that would use up your build points, or you could leave it where it's at, increase a weapon, and I think you're gonna be left over with like a build point extra. So, if you
do we have
went
access to spore torpedoes?
spore torpedoes,
Well, they're in the list, so that's why I'm asking.
where are they at?
Under, if you just click the weapons list in Starship items, there's a light spore torpedo launcher.
I wonder, are they into
A ship that takes damage from a spore weapon immediately takes critical damage. So that sounds cool.
It's from Packed Worlds. Interesting.
Multiple hits don't have any additional effect other than damage, but
Spore torpedo launcher, medium range, 3d6, limited fire, 5 spore. I mean, It's listed as a biomechanical. Uh, it's listed as a weapon for biomechanical ships. You're not operating a biomechanical ship, so I'm not sure if you can use it.
Oh, I don't know. It's not in the list as that, so I don't know.
Yep. It
That's
says
why I'm asking.
yep. You can't add it to other vessels. Only biomechanical ships. So you would
All
have to
right.
have you'd have to have a biomechanical style ship to do it. That's pretty cool though.
So
Man,
how about just a forward high explosive missile launcher?
the only thing I was gonna say is if you did a light torpedo or high explosive, which are 4 build points, that would leave you 2 build points left over, which are just enough that you could, if you wanted, go to a basic medium range and give you a +2 to your sensors if you wanted that sensor upgrade. Because that you have 6 build points left over, so a light torpedo or a high explosive would both cover that. A tactical nuke it could be used too, but you wouldn't have the build points left over for a sensor upgrade if you're concerned with maxing out your build points.
Well, so
Or
I see
or
torpedoes like getting rid of the shields so we can actually damage the hull.
actually, I was gonna say you could upgrade medium shields 90 to medium shield 100. That's 2 build points as well. Give yourself 10 more shield points. So
Ooh.
with doing a high explosive a missile launcher or a light torpedo launcher. Light being the one that you can fire unlimited times. It moves faster in hexes, but high explosive slower in hexes, but you only get 5 shots. More damage. So
Yeah, double damage. The chance of doing just 4 is not as likely.
yep. So what of that sounds good to you guys? High explosive or light, and then upgrade your shields or upgrade your sensors? Or do you want to just go all out for like the tactical nuke?
I wouldn't go for the tac nuke. I'm thinking the light torpedo. I mean, it is only half the damage, but you can fire as many of them as you need.
Right,
And
but if we're gonna do that, then we might as well just get a gun that does 2d4, and we can shoot it as many times as we want. It'll do more damage every round, no matter what.
the light torpedo is 2d8.
Correct, and coil gun is 44, which means it'll do more damage no matter what, because it always does 4. So
Yeah,
with an engineering check, you can do 8 every round, no problem.
yeah. The light torpedo does have the advantage it's less build points and less power, but you've got power to spare. Uh, the light torpedo also takes advantage of the tracking instead of the armor. So if you had something that maybe had good, uh, good armor AC but not good tracking AC, you could use that to your advantage. But yeah, either way, it works. So it's up to you guys. Um, but my personal thought on it would be if you have the high damage, that's at least something you can fall back to. That's not like your normal gun where you just kind of pew pew on them a little bit. So I do kind of think if you go for, this is your heavy hitter, you use it a few times, and then if you're out, you're just left with cleaning up with your coil gun. But I don't know. That's up to you guys. Gustav's being awfully silent. I think he's cleaning.
I mean, this is ship stuff, so I mean,
Well,
unless you
no,
want
it's
to.
weapon stuff.
Yeah, weapon stuff is actually where you will contribute the most.
Well, you had originally said I would be like working beside the captain. If we had a forward-facing gun, that would be better. But yeah, I've never fired the turret or anything, so whatevs.
Well, it fires the same way as a forward gun, except you don't have to shoot forward.
Yeah. The light torpedo is essentially just like the coil gun, except it attacks a different AC and has a little bit lower minimum damage. But the uh, 16 hexes, I think, is the same as the long range on the coil gun. So they work out to be pretty close. Just different type of a component and um, lower power and build point cost. Or that being said, if you wanted to go even higher, I mean, you could go up to medium shields 140, just really stack your shields out, have less offense, more defense, and that actually doubles your regen on your shields too. So your shields go from regenerating 44 per minute to 8 per minute. Not that that really necessarily is all that much. 8 per minute.
Well, and it doesn't happen in combat either.
Yeah. But that would give you 50 shields, which is bigger than 50% bump in shields. Depends on how high. If you're more fighting people off or if you're more running away from people. So I think at one point, if you start really wanting to get into fights, you kind of need to have a second weapon, or uh, you're gonna be at kind of a disadvantage on the actual attack side.
So gunnery is your piloting skill, right?
Not necessarily, no. You have a good dex. You have a good attack with a gun.
Well, it says it's 1d20 plus the gunner's base attack bonus or the gunner's ranks and piloting skill.
So what's your
Plus the
base attack
gunner's
bonus?
dex. I believe it's like a 2.
Right. So then in that instance, if you had 3 ranks in piloting, you'd be better if you were using piloting. But otherwise,
Okay,
you
I
have
have 2 ranks. I have 2 ranks, so it's the same either way.
Yep. So it's a +2.
So I have +2 plus the dex, and then any bonus you get from the computer or the captain or the science rank
Correct.
officer.
Yep.
Yep. But that being said, somebody else has to fire a gun if we have 2 weapons. You can't fire 2 different weapons. You can fire one weapon twice, but you can't fire 2 different weapons.
Right.
So here's the question: do I still get that +2 bonus that I get to all skills for gunnery, or no?
No, because gunnery is not actually a skill.
Yeah, you're just using that bonus. You're not actually using the skill.
It's kind of written weird, actually.
So what are you guys thinking? Do you want to do big weapon, a slightly less powerful weapon, but then be able to get a mild upgrade in shields or sensors, or go full defense and go for big shields?
I figured since I was making some decisions about the other stuff, I'd just, let you guys.
Well, like I said, for me, the ship is a way to get from point A to point B of my adventure. So you guys are the ship guys.
Yeah. Or yeah, I mean there's all sorts of stuff here. Ghost One, what do you
Okay,
think of
so how about a high explosive missile launcher in the front and the better medium range sensors, and that should put us about max.
so basic medium range sensor and high explosive missile launcher in the front. Done. I will pop those
And
in
then
there.
add our 3 checks to modifiers.
Here's our okay, so Okay. And then okay, let's see here. There's no power core costs, just build points. So yeah, we're looking pretty good right now. There we go. So yeah, you guys have 3 power core available. You've upped your AC on everything. You've got some improved sensors, so you get a +2 skill check bonus to using the sensors. You've got that front weapon, so high explosive missile launcher for 48, limited 5 shots. And yeah, we're looking pretty good. So let me pop over to the other one. Let's see here. Gotta adjust the crew here. Uh, and so we have engineer, captain, pilot, and gunner. I will stick Gustav in the turret for right now. And the captain
Can
has
the
no ranks in piloting, which I find kind of humorous.
can the pilot fire forward-facing weapons?
I think he can with a penalty, or if he weren't if he weren't making a piloting check.
Wow, that was drumtastic.
There's lots of drumming going on there.
I think he did it on purpose just so he could accentuate everything he said with a drum solo.
Yep.
Exactly.
Got a party going on over there. Awesome.
Oh,
Yep.
hey, and whenever you get to it, too, I had my 2 rolls there to resolve.
Which rolls to resolve? Sorry. Oh, sleight of hand. Okay. Stealth
I
and
rolled
sleight of
this.
hand.
I rolled a stealth first to see, like, to sneak up and do stuff like that. And I'm not necessarily going just for creds, but like if there's small valuables as well. So, or information, like if somebody had like a device with some information about something they were talking about, whatever.
Okay. And let's see here.
I
All
was
right.
hoping during the week of debauchery that there would probably be something I could get away with,
Uh,
being as it's Mardi Gras and whatnot.
You find a lot of bras.
Oh no, those weren't gems. Those were costume jewelry. Crap.
let's see here. Oh wow. All right. So you're kind of wandering the crowds, everything else. There's a big party going on. You spot somebody who uh looks like they're just one of those people that travels with an entourage, and they have the guy that is running around that looks just completely, utterly like he hates his life and it's his job to wander around and pay for, the partying douchebags life expenses. So he's basically the sober guy that runs around and just does all the errands for the rich guy that's running there and partying his life away here. So as you notice that, you watch him go up and uh, uh, pay for some drinks and stuff that are going on, and he slides a cred stick back into his pocket, and you go ahead and uh, make a quick, deft movement of the hand, bump into him, apologize, and then walk on. And as you do, you walk away with a cred stick. Uh, so I just randomly rolled a d20 to see the quality of the cred stick, and I got a nat 20 on it. So you managed to pick up a cred stick with 400 credits on it. So there you go.
Well, I think that night, Ghost, Nat 1, and Cal might need to have a drink with me.
There you go. So yeah, that one just it happened to be, you got right place, right time. You managed to get pretty lucky with that one. Uh, so yeah, but go ahead and pop that on there. You got a cred stick, and I am checking something here. Oh, hey, nice. Ah.
Great when he laughs.
It's never when I'm a player, but when I'm a GM, man, those those nat 20s are easy to come by. So we'll just end up resolving that at some point in the future.
And there we go.
So you party it up. You have fun with your your ill-gotten gains. So yeah, you guys go ahead and um, uh, you upgrade your ship. You spend some time partying, relaxing. As far as you're not finding any like uh, you're not finding any specific like ruins to explore or anything like that. Just especially in this area, everything seems to be revolving around the caravan that's gone through. Not a lot seems to be, that's been the real hype and all the real news going on. So you do end up having the job to deliver those cybernetics, and you know that um, those dust mantas have been an issue. But that's essentially the gist of what you guys have come up with for today. You got like I said, it's about a week of downtime. So if there's anything else that you guys want to take care of, we've got
Yep.
that. But otherwise, I think we're getting kind of to the point where we've got we're ready to do next action type stuff.
Yep. I did send you a direct message in Fantasy Grounds.
Mm-hmm.
That was my other plan for the downtime. I didn't want to bog us down with sorting it out.
Let's see. Uh, yeah, is it so the Magitech upgrade, is it
Yep.
it's within
Rank four.
level 4?
Level 4.
Yep. Yeah, just go ahead and do it. Not a problem. It's pretty while this caravan's going through, like I said, there's no real trade inside the caravan, but there's lots of buzz and activity outside of it. So you guys can get access to pretty much whatever you need here.
Very well, thank you.
So more info on the dust mantas. The only real info that you had was that uh, they it, having an occasional
Right, but we can connect to the local infosphere, right?
Yeah, as far as as far as what the caravan said, the caravan just said that seeing dust mantas um, is, something that they're used to. Uh, you'll sometimes get, uh, like one or two here or there that'll come on, but they actually had like, multiple pods of dust mantas attack the caravan. So, you're talking large groups of dust mantas and multiple instances, which they just said is odd. It's not the time of year, it's not the place. So it's just really, really unusual to have that much activity from the dust mantas going on. But as far as do you want to know about dust mantas, I can do that too. Let's see here. Let's share this. Um, so there's that. So that's what a dust manta looks like. Um, they are a they're not that big. Uh, so about 10 feet across and they weigh about a ton. So yeah, they're definitely big. Uh, they're definitely big and tough and not something that you would want to necessarily be coming across on your own. But the way that the caravan travels, they basically have essentially vehicle class weaponry fighting them off. So it's not that big of a deal for vehicle class. But if you were on foot, you probably would not want to be encountering these things just wandering around, uh, you know, boots on the ground. So, and what they do is they essentially just kind of swim through the sands. But that is what they look like, and there's just an unusual number of them uh, in the area lately, and they're not exactly sure why. Uh, and then for what you can pull out, do, 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 do. I can. So it says they closely resemble giant versions of common rays, with beige coloration that allows them to blend into their sandy surroundings, and a nasty looking tail capable of injecting horrific toxins. They burrow through the sand easily as their aquatic counterparts glide through water, uh, so they can quickly close in distance on their prey. So they attack with stingers, uh, and try to essentially weaken their victims' bodies, and then they slowly digest them for food. Um, so basically, it's kind of like the was it the Sarlacc pit or whatever? It's like they basically swallow you
Yeah.
whole and slowly digest you in their stomach. Uh, so a lot of so they kind of they try to go into areas where they have a lot of prey, where there's a lot of things to eat. So in essentially in the areas where the caravan was traveling through, it's a lot more barren. There's not a lot of creatures there, and so it's kind of unusual to have that many of them showing up where you don't have as much of the larger wildlife that they're feeding on. So they seem to be there's many of them, and they were actually hungry and attacking the caravans. So, but yeah, that is the extent there. Did anyone have anything in particular they wanted to do uh, beyond this for the the setup or for going forward?
Can't think of anything. Maybe do some culture checks on like other legal stuff that we could bring from here um to Absalom Station, just to cover the expenses for the trip.
Okay.
And that's pretty much all that I can think of at the moment.
Isn't that what Captain's doing?
Yeah, the
I guess he is, yeah.
yeah, the captain, he didn't know if he was going to go with try to transport a VIP or try to transport some cargo. Uh, but
Right.
he was going to try to find something to basically make it worthwhile, cover expenses going to Absalon. He seemed kind of mildly overwhelmed, with the whole it's now his responsibility to make sure that every place you go, you guys are turning a profit. So he kind of uh, just had his general words with you guys, and then kind of shook his head like, "Oh, this, what did I
This
get
is gonna
myself
suck.
into? Yeah, this is gonna suck. What did I get myself into?" And then kind of goes off to do that. So
Yeah. I mean, if we can maybe if we can find some additional pointers, in case he ends up empty-handed, that would be just a bonus, and would show him that we also take the responsibility.
that's good. Okay. Um, so let's see here, and
Yeah, my culture checks suck.
it's okay. Um,
Yeah, it's
so
not
what?
one of my training skills.
So one of the things that that's really popular on Verces is cybernetics. So there's lots of stuff going on with cybernetics here. There's several essentially like religions that have started up around cybernetics. So you guys could always try to find legal cybernetics. The only problem is if you do that, a lot of that stuff can be really expensive. And getting a contract to transport cybernetics could be a little bit, cybernetics that somebody else owns can be a little bit difficult. The illicit stuff's a little bit easier because essentially it's small batches. You've got a box of cybernetics. Probably a handful of devices versus someone that wants to ship cargo containers of cybernetics out there. That's really the one of the bigger things that's going to be your good money makers, but it might end up being a bit difficult to, like I said, find somebody that's going to trust you with their a full crate of them. Um,
Yep.
let's see here. Um, so as far as that goes, the other thing is, there's always the trade back and forth. Absalon doesn't have the natural resources that some of the other places have. So, I mean, worst case scenario, uh, you could always go for what are they called? Um, uh, my brain's dying on me here. UPBs. So basically the building blocks of all the stuff that's constructed. When you're on the Pact Worlds and you're going to Absalon, I mean, it's not going to be great money, but there's some amount of margin to be made for hauling UPBs up there. So, worst case scenario, that's a safe bet. But the captains, if the captain can arrange something a little bit better, that would probably work out to be a lot more profitable because you're really running margins of a few percent over fuel on that because there's just so much of that trade going back and forth, and a lot of it is being done by huge trade haulers that are just they're making their money off of just pure volume. When you don't have as much volume, it's a little bit harder to turn the profit on them, but
Yep.
possible to make some. Um, So yeah, that's essentially where we're at. It's like I said, nice chill kind of a half game going on today. We got our characters updated, we got our ship updated, we've got some leads. We know just kind of wrap it up. We know that um, we have the some experimental cybernetics to deliver that are not legal on Absalon, so we've got that going on. Uh, Gustav made away with a bit of party money, and we'll have to see if anything ends up becoming of that. Uh, you guys were able to upgrade your equipment. I know Ghost One, you were doing, was it Force Souls? What is that, by the way?
4 souls. Hang on, I'm gonna pull it up.
Okay. Gustav ended up
Okay.
updating his armor too.
Yeah, I updated my armor, and I'm still looking for a weapon, honestly.
Yeah. Yeah, the weapons at that until you get to like 5th level, there didn't seem to be a lot of movement on them. Let's see.
It's
Nodes in the
basically basically a tiny force field below your field, below your feet that allows you to find firm footing even in thin air. On the Mark One, it only lasts for a round. At the end of the round, it switches off,
Mm-hmm.
and it works in zero gravity just as well as in gravity.
Mag boots.
Nice.
Kind of, yeah, but mag boots that allow you to walk on thin air.
So you can like run across a chasm as long as you end on solid ground.
Pretty much.
That's pretty cool. Nice. And with as fast as you run, holy crap. You move like what is you can move like 300 feet now, right? Something like
Yep.
that if you're a full sprint.
Yep.
Jeez.
Full sprint, 300 feet.
You could you could essentially run a 300-foot wide chasm. That's that's pretty hilarious. Yeah, that's pretty nuts.
Yep.
It's a cool one use.
So, all right, you got that one. Cal, did you end up? You said you upgraded your armor. Did you do the same thing that Gustav did?
Yeah, the Defrix, yeah.
Yeah, that's good armor. And then you said you're looking for a weapon.
Yeah, but I don't think I'm going to find one.
All right. Well, I think that's pretty good. Like I said, pretty chill stream. Just try to get caught up, get some leads. We've got a couple different things to go on. We've also got this the mantas that are kind of an issue. So maybe that's something that we can dig into at some future point, or we just realize that there's there be monsters in the area and probably shouldn't be wandering around on foot outside of the town right now. Either way, that goes to kind of move things along. So. Yeah, it was a fun stream. I'm gonna go ahead and shut things down. So, yeah, thank you
Next
much, everybody.
time, yep. And next time we start again from well, start doing the real gamey stuff.
Yep. Next time we'll jump on there and hopefully get plenty of people that can, or plenty of activity where we can jump off to Absalon or go wherever we want to go with the full crew. So, all right, there we go. Have a good one, everyone.
Maybe interview one or two candidates. Yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely. Maybe expand our crew a little bit here. So, cool. All right, bye bye.
Yep.